Okay, it's another day, and when I was trying to kind of return to what I was doing from the last video, I was trying to just continue on. I was just getting a lot of API errors, things with Openai, and it looks like um, that cost me $20 yesterday. I don't know where it's getting the GPT-4 Turbo stuff from. Oh, that must have been. Oh, there. It's just putting them all together, I think. Wait, did the text embedding? I don't completely understand this GPT-4 Turbo text embedding tree small. Text embedding only costs like 1 cent, but I guess it's using GPT-4 Turbo. But why does it have that date on it? Oh, that's the date the Turbo was created on. Okay, so it's using Turbo. Is Turbo better than, I don't know. That was created on September. Input output. The output is less than the input. Input was $15. Basically, yesterday, January 21st, it cost me $20, which wiped my account clean because I think before that, I think I probably had $40 altogether, but I had already spent on other days. So it's extremely expensive to run this fin factor thing. You definitely don't want to be running it that often if it's going to cost you. Well, say it got 90% done, it might cost maybe $25 maximum. Maybe I can choose a cheaper option than GPT-4 Turbo. Or there might be ways with Azure. I think you can get like a couple of months free with Azure or whatever it's called, Microsoft. I don't know how that one works. But with this one anyway, it seems to be quite expensive. Now, I don't know if I will top up this. If it's going to be that expensive, I don't know if I'll bother topping up just to do it for an experiment, unless there's something like important I want to do with it, maybe. But that is just to let you know that's how much that's probably going to cost you, unless there's ways you can get that down, or unless I can use something a lot less expensive, like for the moment Deepseek or something like that, like I'm using on the other agent. I don't know if that API key will do. I could try it and see. That would be definitely preferable, because that's crazy expensive. But I do believe that DeepSeek are going to put their prices up at the end of February anyway, or so I think I've heard. So it's probably not always going to be that cheap there. Or there might be ways of doing this where it doesn't have to accept all the text or something. There might be ways of limiting this anyway. I don't know, but just to let you know, I guess that must have been the problem yesterday. And because that's the first thing I seen when I was trying to set it up again today. So I'll be back in a moment. We'll see if we continue with this part or not. Just for the sake of showing, yeah, no, it doesn't work. I tried to put in, because it's OpenAI compatible apparently, DeepSeek. Maybe I just didn't put in the details right. I could try it again. It would be great if we could work it with off that. It'd be a hell of a lot cheaper for another month anyway. Oh, that's it. Put in now correctly. Failed to get encoder is what it is. Warning and error. I'm just seeing if I can fool it, and if there's any way I can fool it. Could not automatically map DeepSeek Reasoner to a tokenizer. Please use tick token get encoding to explicitly get the tokenizer you expect. Now, I wonder if we could, change since this is open source, we could probably change the way RD Agent works with the API, and have it working with maybe we can get Klein or R1 to try and help us with that. I'll have to get a development of the development. Have to make it a developing for the RD agent, and then we have to mess around with code, source code of RD agent. Then I suppose it's not impossible, but it's just I don't know. I guess that could be the next thing I could do here. I don't know if that's wasting time though. Yeah, it could get into all sorts of issues and problems doing that because I'm not very experienced. So maybe I'll leave that. Might do that as a side project, maybe not straight away. It could turn out to be something relatively simple, but that could also turn into weeks and weeks of work. So it might be better just to buy $20 and try and get through the thing. All right, we downloaded, or rather, R1 downloaded the development version. So we have another version of RD Agent that's the development. I'm asking it if it would be able to edit, get into the source code in such a way and provide support for a Deepseek API. And it seems to be showing up some errors with that. So maybe it's not possible. We'll find out. It's actually crashed by the looks of it. I don't know. It's doing something new here. It's going to LLM utils.py and it's trying to edit the thing for Deepseek, but I think it's doing it in the wrong directory. It's not the developer mode, so. But I think it's definitely doing it the right way this time. Rather than last time, I don't know what I was trying to do, but this time it looks more coherent. I think that's probably the way to do it, and it does look like it's supported. It got the diff edit fail thing again. Let me try put it in the right direction. All right, it looks like it might have done it this time. Syntax errors have been resolved. Deepseek API integration is now properly implemented. Great. So I'm going to try and do that then. Okay, so it said RD agent has been successfully configured with Deepseek API integration. The development environment is active and the agent CLI is ready to process requests. So I am running now RD agent VinFactor again without any Openai because I've ran out of credit, and I'm using whatever I have left on the RD agent, which is the same with the same Deepseek API that I'm using for Klein here. And yeah, I just ran it and it seems to be running, although it's got stuck here. I guess it has to do something with the data. I presume it will use the same, because it says already skipped, so it sees that the Docker is there. So I guess it's just initializing the data or something here. Let's see, I'll give it a minute. Oh, of course, it's the whole new thing. So I have to put in the again the daily PV .h5 and the result h5. I completely forgot. Which the thing that I spent weeks on, I've completely forgot that I need to put that in there. Okay, so all this work without it now. Did I do something wrong before? I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a minute. Let's see if it does it without it, but it likely will just give the errors here, and then I can put back in that data then. or am I connecting too many RD agents to the same Docker or something? Probably shouldn't matter, should it? I'm not sure. But great success that it's actually the API is working, the RD Deepseek API. So once I have everything else fixed up, that's great. So that's a hell of a lot cheaper. And once I get that working properly, I should definitely put in a pull request for that, because I'm sure other people might appreciate having things a lot cheaper too. And maybe I'll put in a pull request for the other thing, processing those files, so that FinFactor will actually work as well. Yeah, there it is, the errors. And yeah, no problem. So I know what to do with that. Let me see if I can remember. Okay, just out of by the by, the other developer has actually gotten back to me. I'm not sure if it's. I'm sure it's fine to say their names. Is it like Mr. Lee anyway? And most of them are Chinese, and he says, "Thank you for your interest in the work. The daily pv.h5 file, which is actually just what we're getting stuck on again here." He said it's automatically downloaded and generated by QLib QLib by default. If you have your own data, you can replace it with your own version. It's downloaded and generated by QLib by default. Not in my experience, it's not. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. He seems to be convinced that it is automatically downloaded and generated by QLib by default. By default. Right. Okay. Well, let's find out. Well, maybe I did. Obviously, he knows more than I do, so that must be true. I'll go find out how that is done then, because the way I've been doing it is manually myself. Does he mean it's by default only when you put in the raw data from a .csv? Because when you're doing it through RD agent, it's downloading it kind of directly, as the binaries or something. And anyway, he must know what he's talking about. He's a developer for the whole thing, so I must have it wrong. So there you go. That's what he says. So I guess I should find out how it does that, then how QLib is doing that, because I definitely didn't see. Maybe I'll say I could respond to him, but I don't want to see how to respond. Maybe I'll just say to him that, like, in a nice way, that it might be a good idea to put that in a documentation and like pinpoint particularly where it's doing that in, specifically, because there's absolutely no mention of it at all. But he seems to think it's just automatically downloaded and generated by default by QLib. As I said, he must be right. He's the developer, so I guess we'll try and find out how QLib does that, or where does that. I don't want to apply straight away, just in case I say something wrong. I'll give it a minute and think about it. But yeah, they're very nice. You can actually reach out to the developers, ask some questions. 2 of them have got back to me on LinkedIn. Very nice guys. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee and Mr. Wang. That's their names. I'm not making it up. Okay, so I just manually copied over the other files, and in fact, that's not the error at all. It's still looking for the OpenAI key, so it said it's going to try and edit the LLM utils.py again to see if we can fix that. And then I'll go look at what the developer said about that QLib automatically generating it, the thing later, because it would be much better to get a better understanding of how it's supposed to work rather than hacking it, I suppose, like I've done. I mean, if it does it by default, that's fantastic. So I'm going to try and figure that out. And then if I can't, I suppose that's what I can come back with the question as a response to him, like where is that done by default? But hopefully, I should be able to figure it out. Now, if it does, I'll just thank him, and then maybe I'll do a pull request for this and let him know that, hey, your software can now use Deepseek thanks to me if you approve my pull request. I don't know why it keeps trying to use Microsoft all the time for. You know, I'll just tell it that there's, or maybe it's not connecting to the Docker or something. Isn't that just incredible though? It just goes off, finds the code, goes through it, edits it, goes back, checks it. I mean, I've seen this before, but this one seems to be pretty good at it. There you go, look, just finding the code, finding the part that it needs in LLM utils, taking that part off, putting that part in. Amazing to watch. Whether it works or not, that's another thing. Yeah, it's still looking for the Openai one by the looks of it. And it looks like the Klein or R1 agent has crashed by the looks of it as well. Oh no, still go. Okay. Maybe it will figure it out. Now we got that failed thing again. Diff edit failed. I thought there might be a bit more to it than just editing a few lines. All right. I might have to abandon this particular sidetrack. Maybe just top up my Openai to get the example finished. I mean, he's right that there's automatically a daily PV, which I presume is price volume, stands for price volume dot H or whatever it's called, H5. He's right that it exists there, but it's the data frame is empty. So, I don't know. Is that the one he's talking about? The one that's empty, that's automatically created, but it's empty? I'm not sure. Because the folders do say ignore folder. Anyway, we're really putting this agent to work by the looks of it. I don't think it can. There's probably too many things to change to really get that to work. I'll give it another while anyway. It does work without independently it works, but I guess it can't really, for some reason, get it in conjunction with the commands or the functions. For example, fin factor. I'm not sure why. You'd think it would be just like a port or something, or a plug in through it, and then it just uses whatever it already has running. But I guess not. It must be fairly embedded into it or something. Listen to me talking as if I know what I'm talking about. I haven't got a clue what's happening here. And it does look like it has actually crashed this time. The problem is when it does that, it has no history really of what it's just done, and you kind of have to start all over again, and then it just goes through all the same thing again. I don't know if that crashing issue has to do with number one, whether it's the same key that I'm using for chatting to the agent that I'm trying to do to set up the thing, or Is it just something with Visual Studio Code maybe? Either way, I don't fancy kind of going through all that again, so that could have been a waste of time today, but that's, I was going to say that's trading. That's software development, I suppose you could call it. That's software development for you. All right, well, there you go. There's an idea. Try and get Deepseek running as an API with what's it called, endpoints and all that kind of stuff, whatever it's doing. If you can, because I think I'm going to try and maybe continue doing that because it's way too expensive the other way for now. I know Deepseek are going to put up the prices anyway, but it's just way too expensive to be running it any other way for. So I don't think I'm going to be putting €20 in just to get a, $20 or $30 just to get one example run through. Well, we were so close the last time. We just ran out of credit at the last bit. That's unfortunate. So I am very tempted to just go and do that, but well, it's one or the other. Get that one working or put money in just to see. I'd rather get the Deepseek working if I can, but I think we'll just have to call that then a day for today. So if you can get it working, let me know, or I might get it working in the next video. I think that'll have to do for today. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for the developers for responding to me. And we'll see what we can figure out the next time. Okay, thank you for watching. Scooby-Doo.